Today's session is all about how we bring the complexity to clarity. It's more on to simplifying your HR operations and empowering your employees from employee experience perspective. So session will have a quick escape through on how Zoho people can help you to cater your end-to-end HR operations, right from hiring to retire. So we're all evolving towards employee experience, right? So this is more like how you make your employees feel, and this is almost like a conversation between the employee and the employer. The primary goal of any HRIS or an HRMS would be the workforce management, which is nothing but the core HR function in other terms. So you have different levels of modules that are coming under the workforce management. So as you see, it starts with employee management, time tracking. We have shift management, leave, and adding to the suite, we also have the expense management. So empowering your employees with a self-service becomes a very key note, because sometimes employees get overwhelmed. They don't want to be imposed on what needs to be done. Rather, this page allows them to customize their widgets on their own, which means each user can have a different self-service page and the way they can customize. And this customization stands on top of to what your organization has already customized based on your policies. They can even move the widgets, mark announcements, and handle the birthday alerts and any email notification alerts on a single dashboard. We'll also have cards option shown here. Pretty much this one single page can cater you so that you don't have to get into the product by itself. In other words, because your approvals, your time offs, your attendance marking, everything can be done in one single self-service page. But if you have to do more inductive functions, we'll get deeper into each specifications. So attendance tracking is one key feature that we have in the system. We have multiple ways of marking attendance, starting from your web mode. You can also use your mobile application to check in and check out, which is key in and key out. You can also have your biometric systems integrated. So every time when your employees move into the office or move out, they flash their ID card, and that data can get synced with the platform so that they don't have to mark it manually again and again when they enter after the office. Not only that, the recent addition to the suite is the kiosk option, which is nothing but your facial recognition system. All you need is just a small device at the reception or at the entry of the office. So when an employee walks in, it scans the face and marks the attendance to the relevant metrics. So Blake enters the office, the system scans his face, and boom, the attendance is marked for him. It doesn't manipulate because all data is predefinedly stored in the system, and it matches the records every time when a person enters. So next would be scheduling the functions. The attendance is more of a physical presence, and this is going to be more of a productive presence. So some organizations would not really rely on a physical presence of an employee, which is another hybrid workway function that we all do right now, but rather be very keen on the productive presence, which means the number of hours they spend on a job, on what projects they work for, and how the bills and the clients are aligned in respect to every project that we do. And this also gives an alarm where the overtime setting can impose a function wherein the system allows to track how many hours an employee has spent on an overtime. You can also have an inductive functions to schedule your jobs so that sometimes burnouts can be avoided when it goes beyond overtimes. So next is the shift management. As we know, we have multiple time zones. Sometimes we have different employees working from different parts of the globe. So the shifts might be a very crucial option. I would not say for all the companies, but nowadays most of the globalized companies are falling onto the shift pattern. So you need not map shifts manually every time as and when there is a change. System is going to automate for you. And if there is a pattern that is already followed for the previous months, system will auto-populate a timely reminder. So this will let the manager pick by himself. So he doesn't have to go and change or mark shifts every time. System is going to study the pattern. which is precisely the AI, and that is enforced here so that it suggests a pattern to the manager and he can just pick it if he likes. Always, he also has an option of changing it manually, which is always there. So next is the absence. So different types of absence the system caters, could be different types of leaves, but you don't have to go to multiple places in order to figure out what kind of absence the employee is in. The one single report that you see here is going to show you the categorization on absence that you have. And also, it's not seen as a work interruption because we have brought in a lot of features like delegation and module administration, which is nothing but you can delegate all your tasks to your colleague, including your approvals, or if there are any reminders that you need to send for your team, but you're not going to be there for the next 1 week. All these tasks can be delegated through a system function, and the delegatee on the receiving end can perform actions on behalf of you. Sometimes they might have limitative access to certain forms or certain modules, but these delegative functions would override them so that they have a similar access to what you already have on the system. Roles is again an old option, which has already been there for a very long time. We can also map and switch roles, but I would say delegation is a very top used module nowadays with a lot of our customers. And why so? Because it's just available on a single click, and it's going to map all your functions to the receiving end. These are a few partial functions what we have seen, which could be done manually as well, but if the same can be automated, a HR manager who spends time on all these tasks could save easily 14 hours a week, which is actually more than a day, right? So if they can concentrate on automating this, I know this is going to take time in a single wise implementation, but once it is set up, you're going to save a lot of time every week. So this is into the gist of the expense management. Now expense management is also part of the suite where probably larger organizations could afford to have a separate expense tool or be the expense team as a function, but in most of the mid-scale organizations, the HR does the work of expense as well. So this option here comes handy in handling all three categories of expense, which is your pre-trip, before you make a travel or before you create an expense. All your requests can be raised in the platform and it can be sent for approval automatically. And on the trip, you can start capturing your expenses, add receipts to the tool with a single photo option. You need not keep the bills manually with you. All you have to do is just scan the bill whenever you procure it, and then post the trip, you just have to click one button because you've already scanned the copies. It's going to generate the number function. It's going to use the date value automatically and push everything into the system. And all of this is going to be working collectively together because the core function that the system relies on is the employee database, which is readily available in the system. And these things makes easier for you since you already have the database running up and hold. So this is one such example of a expense platform, wherein this is where you can capture the receipts, right? This will automatically track your mileage functions, and this is also audit ready. So probably different cadres of employees have different sets or different priorities, I would say. And you need not manually change or close the options because system will automatically find what cadre are you in the organization, what is your supposed exponent bonus, and what is the limit that you're allowed to. With the help of validations, every data will be picked and be sent to the respective hierarchical approver. Now into the employee development. Two core legs of employee development would be the performance management and the learning management. So in Zoho people, we have employee-centric performance management tools, which starts right from uprising an employee, having your review extinctions done. We will also have a continuous review system, which allows people to review or rate their employees throughout the year, because one, it becomes difficult to remember what the person or the employee has done in every single stage of his probably the project or could be a task. So the continuous review helps the employee and the manager, both of them, to stay intact so that they are not taking leaps anywhere. Also with the 9-box matrix system, the system is going to help you and give you a gist of the best performance that you had in the organization versus the key potential performers where they have to improve on. And this is also taken to a lead for succession management and helps you to pick people who are ready for their next stage of employee cycle. Now the feedback system ends here, right? So when there is a different types of reviews handled and the review process is completed, you are done with your employee reviewment process probably once a year or half yearly or sometimes quarterly, but it doesn't go to the next stage. It ends there, right? So what we thought is we'll have a strong integration between your performance management system to your learning management system. So we often talk about people who perform well or do exceptionally well out of the boxes, right? But there is always a good leap of improvement on people who needs to be scaled to the level that the organization expects. So the managers can suggest a course here based on the performance that they have given in the previous cycles, and they can even add them or enroll them directly into any course that you have added in the learning management system. Not only that, the courses can be taken from anywhere, could be a virtual classroom training, or you can also create different learning plans exceptionally for different cadre of employees, not necessarily that it has to be a common or a generalized course, because if you generalize things, it doesn't go anywhere. You need to be very specific on what type of course a person needs to enroll into or get mastered into. That's when his improvement on performance is going to hit to a higher note. This is also doable in system with a right integration between the learning management and the performance management. So next we'll be moving into the engagement part. So this is where the actual employee experience evolves around, all right? So key functions that are required to create such an employee experience would start from communication. Often organizations feel hard to have that communication, or I would say a human touch, as all HRs, right? And getting that through a feedback or a collaborative mode adds more challenges to it. So let's see how the tool can help you here. Using the People Plus platform, you can have team interviews done, which is team meetings. You can also share your screen. You can do collaborative function work together. You can also send data representations, including reports. Not only that, you can have quick bots set up to your system. Bots are nothing but instant messaging systems, which will give you the scrutiny of information based on the dashboards on how they react. For example, if you have a ticketing software, if there is an escalation going on from one of your customers or probably one of the projects, could be in any sense, right? It gives you an instant alert notification when you integrate these bots. Or you could also use it like an AI dashboard wherein you get timely reminders on how the reports are or how the sales is performing or how you have to run on the data that is being relied on a common implementary database. You can also have your Click. Click becomes a very strong tool when it comes to communication. This is more like your internal WhatsApp maybe or internal line, which is going to connect your employees, and it is a very handy tool to operate and to have these collaborations, especially when we have multiple modes of working or a hybrid function mode. It is very difficult to understand or know the status of an employee, whether he's in office or whether he's working today from office or he's working from home. But tools like Click will help you to eliminate all such questions. It also has an option of scheduling message. Let's say probably I'm presenting right now, and if I want some message to be sent to my team, all right, I could schedule a message probably right at 4 p.m. and the message goes there even I'm doing a presentation here. So few additional tools. We are just highlighting the top of the tools that could connect with the platform, but the tool has more capable functions that now we could help you if you drill dive into one of them. The tool also has an option of building a social network kind of a platform within the organization, because this is seen very important and useful and probably could also be used for handling lighter information. So if you want to run a poll, say about your team trip, or if you want to guys catch up for a team dinner, just wanted to know what their options are, you could run a poll as easy as it is. It also helps for you to connect the new bees that join the organization with the leadership team. So getting the culture or getting to know where the organization is going for a newbie is very important. Otherwise, they often get lost. And that is where the problem that leads to the great resignation. Because most of the employees that run onto the resignation line, either they're not satisfied with the pay, or it could be they're not engaged well, or they're lost. So one of all these reasons get easily connected to it. And these tools can, I would not say these tools will exactly help you to overcome everything, but this could be a start, at least, to kind of, check on your employees. Hey, what is happening? Are you fine? Or are you finding something to be run out at? Do you need any help? Something like that, right? Just a hands-on or a tampon, probably trying to bring a human touch through automation, right? So that's what we are trying to see here. ENPS here again is an underlying weighted feature. So probably I'll put it in this way. It is always the organizations that give feedback to the employees. We just spoke about performance. But ENPS here helps the employees to give feedback to the organization, probably in the ways how they can improve. Usually you get this most from the employees who have recently joined the organization or someone who's leaving the organization. You don't get it from a person who's been hanging on for a very long time in the organization though. But yeah, ENPS could always be a stronger point when it comes to understanding the pulse of an employee and taking this as a room for improvement where every point that needs to be nurtured in every skill level. Do you get questions from your employees? I mean, I know you people, most of you are from the HR background. Do you usually get questions from your employees? Probably if people don't see you around office, that's when you go to office, right? When you're not at office, but you're still working, how do they get to you? Probably a call, a message, right? But that just ends there, right? There is no track on what was asked and what was replied by you, right? Sometimes this might even lead to a grievance at any point of time. If you're not talking something on a lighter note, if this is like a sensitive kind of a thing, or if this is very important, it often lost at where it is taken there, right? So I would say there's a smarter way to handle, right? So a smarter function to handle your employee query management would be sorting what you get, manage the question what you've been asked for, ask if you need any clarification on, and more importantly, record and track it. So all this possible metrics is achievable through the case management feature. So this case management feature acts, probably to put it in a simple way, acts more like a ticketing software, right? Wherein this helps you to create categories. So different categories, few such examples that you see here could be leave, travel, sometimes grievance, right? So you create different categories and assign different owners or DRIs to each category. So one, you're delegating all of your work or partially some part of your work. Two, you're appointing the right person there. Three, you're tracking everything on what you're getting from the employees. So what's next on this? As soon as an employee, for example, has a question with regards to his, say, annual leave, right? So he can just go to the category called leave, raise a query there, right? And the query gets automatically assigned to the DRI who has been appointed. And this DRI can also be given an SLA, which is the service level agreement, which is nothing but the stipulated time in between which he or she has to get back to the employee. This also can be set so that we can make sure the employees are answered at the right time and not left alone. You can also have FAQs. You can also have frequently asked questions. Sometimes this also could be overwhelming, right? So before they raise a category, they can also refer to the FAQ section, see if the query is seen there. If not, they can still feel free to raise a category. By doing this, we'll have the track at any point of time, right? Because employees cannot say that, no, this is not they've heard of or they're not aware of. The same applies to the administrator as well. Now, the features all over what I've seen here in the platform is all part of one single bundle. And the reason for putting this as a, probably this should have been my first slide, but why this has moved to the later part is for you to understand the developing function of each and every feature. So whatever you see here is dedicated features, but they are as big as an evaluative module or product by themselves. So all of this come into one single suite, which is Zoho People Plus. And this also adds more to the security, because we never compromise on security. We are always future driven. So we keep adapting or changing our applications. For that matter, we have also released a new UI, which is 5.0, and all the screenshots what you have seen are part of 5.0. For people who are already using Zoho People, you have seen a minor difference in the platforms that you see on your web to what I'm presenting here, because this is about the new user interface. So Zia is one strong platform that we constantly keep updating on. So this is more of an artificial scape where a bot like an interface is going to help you or your employees to handle everything. Kiosk is something that you've already seen, which is a facial recognition app and nothing but the mobile application. So pretty much all the features what we have in the web is also available in our mobile app. So this is for people who would like to make things or changes on the go, and this comes very handy. Moving to the last part. So this is one specific dashboard of a page where you can draw insights of your all processes and all modules that you have in the system. When I say all modules, right, starting from your recruitment to your onboarding, to your core HR functions, and to your exit module, which could be a custom module, and we soon will have a system module. So your entire HR function could be derived as a report in one single page or from one single page. So which is why we see this page as a very intuitive one, and most of this all functions put together is why we see this as an evolving app for the world of work. So that's pretty much it. So most of the companies, I would say, are looking more in terms of emphasis to the employee experience and improvement. And I hope that's your action plan as well. Thank you so much.